What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So in this video, I'm pretty much going to be just making this video as a reminder to all you guys out there to continue doing a life audit on yourself. And what that really means is, from time to time, look at where you're spending your time and make sure that you're using it in the most valuable way possible. And it's hard sometimes for people to accept this, because once we find a path that we want to go down, I think as humans, we just like that comfort of staying in the same routine every day, or at least within our comfort zone. And I think if we want to get to the top of our game or reach the highest levels in any game or entrepreneurship or anything like that, we have to constantly do audits of ourselves and make sure that we're doing things in the best way possible. You'll see this in professional sports. They will constantly review film of their game and see where they're making a mistake. And if they do see a mistake, they will correct it as soon as possible. Whereas conversely, for most people in their life, if they're making a mistake, whether they know it or not, sometimes they just continue doing it because they want to stay in their comfort zone. And this can prove to be really detrimental over time. And that's why I think it's so crucial that we constantly do a life audit and keep always checking from an outside view what we're doing with our life and making sure that we're on the right path, or at least on the path to where we want to go. And that's how these paths go. You know, it's constant correction and getting back on course. And I was thinking about something the other day, that just because you're working harder doesn't mean you're getting any more results, right? And I think actually the opposite is true. If you find that you're working really hard to get the results that you want to get, I think you're doing it wrong. The people that are at the top of their craft, they get the same results with much less work. For example, when I was playing soccer, at the beginning, I would be chasing after the ball because I'm thinking the ball's right there, let me go get it. And I'm constantly running circles. They're just passing around me. I'm running circles trying to get this ball. And I'm thinking in my head, okay, if I just keep grinding and working hard, the results will come. But in actuality, I'm just tiring myself out. And the best players, they knew how to stop chasing the ball and let the ball come to them. Just get in the right position and the ball will come to you. If you look at Messi when he plays, a lot of the time he's just walking. He's just walking to the right positions, and then he's in the right position and the ball will come to him. Right? My coach gave me an analogy. He said, the players on most fields, they move like waves, right? And if you think about, if you have a small blanket when you're trying to sleep and you pull it up towards your head because you want your neck covered or whatever, and then your toes are exposed while you're laying down, and then you pull it back towards your toes and then your neck is exposed, right? Most people are the blanket. They're constantly just moving back and forth like a wave together. But the best players on the field, they know how to be the one at the end that just waits. Let the players move this way, I'm gonna go this way. And they're all over there now, so I'm wide open over here, if that makes sense. I know I kind of didn't explain that in the best way, but it just goes to show that working smarter and constantly auditing what you're doing is so crucial, and it's so beneficial, and it can really allow you to make leaps forward past other people. Like when you see other people in life and you're like, how are they doing it so easily? A lot of them, they have learned through experience that working hard is not the best way to do it. It's simply not. Another example of this is like on YouTube, right? I could make 500 videos that are just simply low quality videos, and I could put hours upon hours in each of them, and it could take me a year to make 500 videos, but each of them only do 200 views each. Okay, I did something wrong. Whereas if I just spend 1 month of my time to make one amazing video that gets 1 million views, that's 1,000 times more valuable, right? And it just goes to show that in most areas in life, working smarter is the best way to go. And constantly remind yourself that if you're grinding really hard to get to where you want to go, you're probably doing something wrong. Take a step back, look at what you're doing, look at ways that you can save time, look at ways that you can change what you're doing to make it easier on yourself and get even more results, right? I had listened to someone on a podcast saying that they were working at Starbucks before they got into entrepreneurship, and they were making like 10 an hour at Starbucks, and then they learned how to make websites, and they ended up selling websites to people, right? And when they would have a client that wanted a website, they would take, let's just say $1,000 for a website. They would go to someone else, give them $500 to build the website, and they just made $500 just for that transaction, right? So they might have done maybe an hour of work and they made $500. And it just goes to show that working smarter pays way more than working harder. The goal is to work as little as possible with the things that make you money, you know? You want to save that energy for things that you want to do. Maybe you want to go hiking, kayaking, I don't know, go to the gym, work hard in the gym, I don't know, whatever you want to do. That's where you want to save your money for. You don't want to be working hard on stuff that you don't want to be working hard on, you know? And that just basically explains why this life audit is so important. And I want to implore you guys to continue to do this every day, or maybe not every day, but on a consistent basis, whenever you feel like you need to check in with yourself and make sure that you're doing the right thing. And don't allow yourself to live in denial, right? Denial is really a bad habit to get into, because a lot of us, like I said, we like to live in our comfort zone. And that comfort zone is so comfortable that it can allow us to keep us from really progressing forward, and to get used to getting out of that comfort zone. Get so used to being uncomfortable that uncomfort is your comfort zone, if that makes sense, right? You want to constantly be reiterating on your process. Constantly design the process, put it into action, learn from the mistakes, reiterate, and continue that process, continue that cycle. And over time, you'll continually get better, and you'll start to reach new heights on a continuous basis. In computers, they call this machine learning. You know, the machine is constantly learning, constantly getting more efficient. But yeah, I just wanted to make this video to remind you guys to do that life audit on yourself. A lot of you might be on the right path right now, as far as what you're aware of, but a lot of you might not be. And over time, you learn new things. And even if you feel like you were on the right path a year ago, if you do a life audit again, you might find that with the new knowledge that you have, you might not be on the right path anymore. You might have enough knowledge now to do things in a smarter way. And that life audit is so important. And don't live in denial, guys. Don't live in denial. Be honest with yourself. The truth is so important, especially to yourself. Lying to yourself does nothing. No one else is going to see it, you know? You're just hurting yourself. I heard a quote from Scott Ross. He said, "Denial is not a river in Egypt. Denial is a weed that lives in the heart of men and cuts off their ability to be the people that they're truly meant to be." And it's so true, guys. Be honest with yourself when you're doing this audit. Be honest with what you're doing with your time, and don't be afraid to make changes instantly. Quickly make that decision. If you find that you're doing something wrong, make that decision and cut it off. I don't care if you've been on the same path for 10 years. If you find, you know what, I've been doing the wrong thing and it's not getting me the results, I need to change. Don't be attached to that comfort zone. I'll give you one more example. When I was skateboarding and I was trying to land a kickflip, my friend who knew how to kickflip at the time, still can kickflip, he told me I kept doing the kickflip the same way over and over and over again, and I wouldn't land it. I mean, for hours I was sitting there trying to land this kickflip, right? And I kept doing it the same way and I kept getting the same result, I wasn't landing on it. The board was flying in front of me or behind me or whatever it was doing. My foot wasn't landing on it. And he said, he didn't even tell me what to do with the kickflip. I knew what to do. I knew how to do it. It's just I was so habitually doing the wrong thing so often that I just kept doing it. My brain was so used to doing the wrong thing that I just kept doing it. And he looked at me and he said, if you keep getting the same results, like if you keep not landing it with the way that you're doing it, then just change the way you're doing it. If however you're doing it isn't working, then obviously like you're doing something wrong. You need to do something else. I don't know what else you need to do. I'm not going to tell you what you need to do, but whatever it is, you need to change what you're doing because whatever you're doing isn't working. Right? And the same goes with how we're moving through life. I've spoken about congruence before on this channel. And if we were completely congruent with the person that we want to be, we would be that person right now. So if we look at our lives and we see, okay, we're not getting the results right now that we want. Why is that? Maybe I should make a change. If I'm not living the life that I want to live right now, something needs to change, and it needs to change right now. So it's worth taking the time to take a step back, look at what you're doing, do the life audit, be honest with yourself, make sure that you're doing the right thing and correct course. And if you continue doing this, you'll start to see these plateaus in your life, you'll start to move beyond them so quickly, and it'll feel amazing once you reach that new level and you work half as much to get 5 times the results or even more. It's such an amazing feeling, guys. Constantly look at that game film of your life and look at where you're making mistakes and keep reiterating. Don't be afraid to tell yourself the truth. And yeah, denial, get rid of that, guys. Denial is not a river in Egypt. Get rid of that as soon as possible. But yeah, I just wanted to make this video because it was what was going through my mind. I wanted to remind you guys to continue doing that life audit. If this helped you, if you haven't even considered this before, let me know in the comments below. If you want to share any advice or any of your comments related to this subject in the comments below, please do that. And yeah, I'm gonna have more content like this coming out in the future. I really just am learning these lessons as I go, and I just want to share them with you guys. So yeah, that's about it.